What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Alex G. I'm alongside Mal, and this is the A Couple of Things podcast where we are here to talk about a couple of things. Today is going to be a nasty video, nasty podcast, audio, video, whatever, however you're consuming this. But yeah, so just I guess a bit of a, what would you call it? Like a warning? Warning just in case there's anybody listening that may be triggered by things like...
Trigger warning?
Yeah, trigger warning, that's what... Just in case anybody's listening that may have any traumatic experiences dealing with domestic abuse, sexual assault, etc. So just wanted to put that out there. But I promise you there are some more lighthearted topics. So without further...
We're going to get the rough ones out the way?
Yeah, unless you want to do it differently. We could get the rough ones out the way. But then we're going to make it funny. So not the... accusations and things we're gonna have other topics that are a little bit more funny, but I guess the biggest one for right now is obviously the Johnny Depp versus Amber situation.
What?
Nah, it's just I think it's kind of I'm not particularly on any side. Like, obviously, a lot of people are siding with Johnny Depp. I'm not taking that position necessarily, and not because I don't think he has a ton of valid reasons or anything like that. I just don't want to jump into anybody's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like thing. So I don't want to be like, oh yeah, get Amber out of here, whatever. But I do just want to talk about it because I think that it's raising a lot of really, really important questions, and I think at least highlighting some of the issues maybe more from a male's perspective that we usually don't get in terms of like domestic abuse cases or anything like that. So I think that this case is highlighting a lot of things. Like, it's a shame that your personal relationship has to be put on blast.
I know. And like text messages. Imagine all your messages you ever wrote, just the whole world got to hear.
Yeah. For those of you that did not have not watched it, and it's not entertaining because obviously this is people's real lives and things that are traumatic, and a lot of drug abuse and just domestic abuse in general was being discussed in the case. But like, I watched a lot of it outside of you. I don't know if you happen to see the clips, but I watched a lot of like the lawyer because they were highlighting how the defense.
I'd be sitting here all day working from home bored. So there's a guy on YouTube who streams everything. Like, I found him during the whole Brian Laundrie Gabby Petito case. That guy I found. So he likes live streams everything. So I just been listening in. And his live streams have been like 8 hour long. Because they take lunch breaks. So it's like a lot of breaks. But these trials are like all day, I think, during the work week. Yeah,
So
I watched like maybe 2 of them, and like one was 7 hours, one was 8 hours. I didn't watch all the way through those a lot, but I got like the gist of a lot of it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it to that extent, but there were people that were like chopping up the important clips, really highlighting the defense lawyer.
And a lot of the important clips was what I was watching anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I think it's highlighting a lot of stories that don't get told from the male perspective, and not that Johnny Depp wasn't wrong for certain things, because I'm sure that there were some things that he was doing that weren't exactly
because based off what we're hearing from the defense lawyers and like the questionings and their evidence is that it was a lot of like drugs on his side. Like, he was alcoholic, drug addict, and that type of stuff makes you wild out and like go crazy. Like, that, you might not necessarily be abusing somebody physically, but mentally dealing with that's probably a lot. That doesn't excuse her what she did, but it's like he seemed like he was a lot, and it almost makes me, I hate to I'm not even victim blaming, but it almost makes me feel like if you're that addicted to drugs and alcohol, then you can't be in a relationship. So he should have never gotten a relationship in the first place, honestly. Because I feel like if you're like addicted to stuff, like, relationships don't help when you're going through other things. That shouldn't be like the least of your priorities,
Sometimes.
But then some people will be like, oh, but so people who are addicts are not allowed to have relationships, like, just because they're struggling. It's like, no, I'm not saying that. It's like, but you're not your best you. And if you're not your best you, your relationships are gonna reflect that.
I agree. I think that relationship could really help in those situations, or it can make it a lot worse. And this is just
and that's where her flaws comes in. Because if he had like a really good partner that really would help him through it, which it seemed like she did help him through it in the beginning. But a lot of people's perspective is that she's been plotting since the beginning, also
for the money.
Yeah. And that maybe she saw the weakness of him being a drug addict and alcoholic to try to like exploit that for her benefit.
You know what's crazy? There's so many instances of that. Like, I remember I was watching back. There's a guy on YouTube. His name's Joseph Vincent. So shout out to Joseph Vincent. I mean, he has over 1 million subs, so he doesn't need my shout out. But he does really good sports like documentaries, just on his own, like sort of independent documentaries, and they're really well put together. And I've watched it a couple of times because I'm a big fan of sports, and I think sports tell stories about life and life lessons and things like that. So I try to learn from other people's mistakes, and sometimes that's through sports. In the Mike Tyson documentary, I don't know if you're familiar with the story, but Mike Tyson was accused of sexual assault, which was it was a lie. But the woman at the time, I don't know if this was her specific audio, but basically she had the perspective of because Mike Tyson is like synonymous with being sued from all over the place. Yeah. Like hundreds of millions of dollars in his lifetime he's paid out in lawsuits. So the woman like preyed on him after he had a divorce from his wife that also stole money from him, plotted on him, stole his money. And she was like, oh, all these people, he's sending out all this money with lawsuits, blah, blah, blah. I might as well get me some. So she lied. You know, it's Mike Tyson. He's black. Of course, he wasn't going to get the benefit of the doubt for anything. So he went to jail for a couple of years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And she got the money. But it's just another one of those situations. But I feel like these things, like, obviously Johnny isn't without his own personal demons and sins, but it is highlighting how women abuse men, because that's a common thing. And I think that men,
they don't see it as abuse.
Women don't. Men need to know when they're being abused as well. Yeah.
Because as a man, you don't like. How do you sound?
Tough. Yeah. You're supposed to be tough. Like, how you gonna let this 5'2"? I don't know how tall Amber is, but how you gonna let some 5'2" girl bully you? Essentially, is the way it's looked at. But it's like, nah, like that's possible.
It's crazy too, because you know that the second you hit her back, you might hurt her really bad. You're like, and they hurt you too. As the woman could really hurt you too, and kill. And the case is kill. But it's like they use that to their advantage, knowing that you're that much bigger and stronger. That all it might take is you being like a shake. You might shake them so violently that like something breaks, like their neck or something.
I really feel bad for asking this on camera, but what's your opinion on that for like male self-defense? Now let me finish for a second. I'm of the perspective that as a man, and it's a shame because it's just double standards, but we live in a double standard society. But I think in most instances, if a woman is physically assaulting you, you can kind of
like hold them.
Like, not even that. Like, you just don't even have to be physically anything with them. You can, in most instances, get away from that. Like, you should be fine.
Unless they're throwing things. And that's what that was her case. She was throwing a lot of things at him, like throwing like bottles or something, some item that they use like for painting, something like glass. Like, she was throwing actual things like a candle or something like it. And that's the type of stuff that was like messing him up. And then cutting his finger. And she had a knife. Yeah. Cut his finger off. Like, it's crazy.
That's why I wanted to ask you, at what point do you think, and this is your own opinion, you're not speaking for all women, we're not generalizing, but in your opinion, at what point do you feel like a man is, it's okay for a man to physically respond to physical assault? Like, how far does that have to go?
I mean, I'm always, if some, like, keep your hands to yourself. If someone touches you, then the first hit is, for me, is on site.
You know what's crazy about that, though?
Depending on what you do, though. But no, I feel like, if you know, if I'm a girl, well, I am a girl, but if we're fighting, right? And
you're a woman.
Whatever. And I'm like this, right?
Don't put your hands on me.
Then you could be like that back. You throw a bottle at you, I'm throwing a bottle back. But that's in a perfect world. In this world that we live in, unfortunately, since the man is stronger, for the most part, even throwing something, it's like, oh, but there was more force behind the throw because you're stronger.
That's the thing. And that's why, like, that's where my opinion is. Because, like, if you threw a bottle at me, I'm taking a bottle and I'm pegging you with the bottle. Like, I'm throwing a 90-mile-per-hour fastball just because that's crazy. Like, yeah. But that's why I wanted to ask you, and I'm not I know people are going to interpret that the way they want to interpret it, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't do it. That's what, well, you don't abuse me, but I wouldn't do it in those situations because there's no way to, because once you get to that point, in my opinion, there's no coming back. Like there's no.
After his finger was chopped off, I'm surprised the divorce didn't happen there. Like you chopped the tip of my finger off.
It's like
that's psycho. Like psycho, literally.
Even if a girl hits you, I just personally can't imagine raising my hand to a woman, like, and hitting her back. Because I know, maybe it's because I just know me personally, and I know that, like, you've seen the one instance where the switch gets hit, and I'm afraid of that because.
I think that happens to a lot of men. I think a lot of men who have killed their partners was that switch. Yeah. Like Brian Laundrie. I feel like that was that switch.
Sorry, we're having a sensitive conversation, so I have to clarify. The switch was not hit against her. It was another male. She just happened to be in the situation. A male was. I'm talking about that party thing that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to clarify because I said the switch was hit, and then
no, that was
to clarify for all y'all out there.
Party.
It was a party. There was a guy harassing Malika as well as her friends, and then he put his hands on me. Ex-friends, yeah. And because of that, a switch got hit because he put his hands on me then, and then it was game over, and then he went to sleep shortly after.
Yeah, that was funny. I mean, in the moment, it was scary, especially because after that, it was like, it's a long story. We can't even get into it.
I don't even want to tell that story because
and then the police.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
That felt we was in GTA, but we got out.
Yeah, it's all right.
That could have turned out really bad too if he had like a weapon in the house. I was thinking about that stuff.
Whatever.
But thank God I didn't. This is why, to go off topic, this is why you ever notice like they always say when you surround yourself by certain people, it always seems like bad stuff happening. How come ever since they've been dropped, no crazy incidents happen? Haven't been in uncomfortable situations where I felt like my life was at stake. They put me in bad scenarios and they want to act like they was good friends. Anyway. Good friends don't put you in bad scenarios. But that wasn't really their fault. But it's just the association of what happened when you're around those people in their circle and who they brought us around. Like that was her people. I don't know where we was at. I don't know who those people was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But to bring it back specifically to the Johnny Depp situation.
I like to get off my rants.
I would just be too afraid. Like, even if a woman did something wild, like, even if you threw, like, one of these big-ass speakers at me, like, I would be afraid of my reaction. That's why I tend to try
finger
not
thing,
to react.
like, that, you know how you could have snapped so easily after you cut your finger? Like, you imagine looking down and you'd be like, what the? Like, I mean, you might be so much in pain that you don't even react, but.
And that scares me because, right, like, my instincts, I feel like, would kick in and I would probably be going to jail. I'm not saying what I would do, but I don't feel like I would react to deadly weapons.
Yeah, and that's just being a
me.
human. That's just being a human. I hate that it's such a male versus female thing. Like, I hate that we have this stigma around that because it's like, imagine that's your son being abused. You would have that same energy. Yeah. And that's usually what happens. Anytime people on the timeline see stuff and they see like a man being like getting abused, that's what people's response. Like, imagine this is your son. Like, you know, if that's your son, you're going to tell him to hit her back.
Not just that.
Keep your hands to yourself. You don't need to touch people at all. You don't need to hit your kids. You don't need to hit people at all. Literally, there's really no reason to hit somebody unless they hit you and attack you. But I'm saying, like, for discipline, no reason. Arguing with your partner. How do you even get to the point where you're hitting each other? Just talk. Even if you have to scream on the top of your lungs and just argue, what point do you get to be able to hit somebody? That is just so like.
That's what I'm saying.
Psychotic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to get to that point is crazy to me. But to what you were just saying about social media is like, they're like, oh, that could be your son. It's like, no, that is a common story. Like, it's very common. We've seen instances in college where it got crazy.
There was glass in my bed when I was moving out.
Crazy.
I had crazy ex-friends. Anybody listening? I don't know. My life has been so at peace since I got my 2 friends. I'm chilling. Glass in my dorm. There was a lot. Yeah, we witnessed some stuff in school. He just got surgery and he had to go. She like broke something and he had to go back to get the surgery redone. His mom was pissed.
Like, yeah, like there's a lot of real
crazy. Oh God.
I'm trying to stay away from like, the specific examples to talk about some of the specific people, but yeah, like there's a lot of abuse like that men go through, even just lightweight, what's considered lightweight stuff that you would not necessarily think, but a woman should never put her hands on you
at all.
Like, she shouldn't spit on you. She shouldn't really do anything. Like,
Like I don't care what you did. You could have cheated on me with a million girls, got somebody pregnant. I would never. Like for what? Because that's really what people argue about if you think about it. As far as like putting your hands on somebody, the only reason you ever get to that point is usually infidelity, stuff like that.
And that's why that like, it's not really a joke, but it's serious. It's like people on the timeline will be like, women will do everything except just walk away.
Yeah.
Like they'll key your car, and this is not like a women
puncture the tires.
Woman,
yeah, men will do that
hate
too.
podcast. Women. Wait, I confused myself. Men do the same thing.
Yeah.
Just walk away. Like
it's so easy.
It's
There's so many people in this world. I know people have they are so fixated onto one person that they're with, especially if there's memories and stuff involved. It's like I get that, but it's like
if somebody pull out a knife on me, sorry.
Like I can't even imagine not being at peace at life like that. Like I can't imagine arguing and just being mad all the time. Physical fights. Like I can't imagine. Like I just wouldn't want that.
Nothing's ever that deep.
It's never that deep.
Like people be like they abuse people as if they like killed their dog or something, like killed a family member. It's like, yo, that's, I don't get it. But just in general, this case is
it's still ongoing.
Yeah, it's still ongoing. It's interesting. I'm sure more information will come out from either side. And like I said, not picking any specific side because I don't think that that's what this case is important to highlight. I just think, you know, showing both sides of a relationship, because we usually get the men that come out as the abusers. We usually get men that are, you know, oh, you're the worst person in the world because you cheated on this person. But it's like, wait, you don't know. She might have pulled a knife on him. Like you really don't know. And
that's why the stories are coming out. There was stories about like there was video evidence of her in the elevator with James Franco, and like apparently he was saying like she would bring guys up in there, and like that's his penthouse, like and multiple men was up there, like that was up there, you know, like cheating. And like, it's just funny because when the magazine came out, like with her article, everybody sided with him. That's when he immediately got dropped. Like Disney, you know, Disney don't play that. Like, look at all the stuff that happened to him, and we saw her as a victim, and now we're finding out stuff like that. Like, obviously, that's you know, not cheating is not an excuse for getting physical with somebody, but we're finding out a lot of the backstory about who she is and like how it seemed like she'd been plotting this whole time. Like she was recording stuff. That's why he started recording stuff back because she was doing it first. The recording stuff is so weird. Like, what are you recording a fight for? An argument? Like that's just so weird.
And what's even crazy?
Yeah, she was plotting because he was throwing glass around. Like I don't know if you saw that one video. And she was recording him. He saw that she recorded, and she didn't touch him. She was laughing. Picked up her phone and threw it. If you were so scared of him, you would have been like, she wasn't doing any of that. He picked the phone up and threw the phone. He didn't touch her. He saw that as she was recording, and that was the day his mom died, or the day after. Like, you really gonna record somebody at a vulnerable moment when their emotions are on a roller coaster? Like, you're just finding out all the stuff about her. I'm like, she was crazy, and it's like, if you know that you're dating somebody who's like a little unstable, like, why are you gonna fight them and try to record them and provoke them? Yeah,
for the money, because it's really crazy. Because like that's something that men don't do, because women don't typically have more money than the men. Yeah. So
she pooped in his bed too. You saw that?
Yeah, I saw that. And blamed it on the dog.
Yeah, it was like the dog was a 4-pound like teacup Yorkie or something. They're like, that dog did not big poop on the bed. Yeah. She's like, come on, there's nobody sane is doing that. Nobody sane is pooping on a bed intentionally. Nobody sane is doing that. So that's how you know something's off with her.
And and this is not to do any mental illness shaming, but sometimes you gotta shame mental illness. But there's so many instances of women doing real psycho stuff like that. Literally. Like you even saw like the Bad Girls Club, like that thing with the Claremont twins, like that. Like women do real crazy shit. Psycho,
like destroying all that stuff like that.
Women do real crazy shit.
For like, what? They didn't even do nothing to you, like touch your stuff or touch you. Like you're gonna throw it, like psychos. And a lot of people are mentally ill. Like I think everybody on this earth has some type of mental illness or slightly mentally off. We all have something that we deal with, whether it's more severe or less. You know, I think everybody deals with something, but some people really deal with it and never go and walk around this planet undiagnosed and don't even have any sense of like sense of self. Like maybe I should not do this. Maybe this is crazy. Maybe I should go get these anger problems addressed. Maybe I'm like narcissist. Like maybe I'm evil. Like maybe I should go, you know, I don't know. I think everybody has problems, but some people have them a lot worse.
One thing, you know, I don't have Twitter anymore, of course, but another thing is like I've really tried to tend to not look at, you know, comments anymore. Cause like, but like when I did have Twitter, you could see that there's a lot of people like that. Like there's a lot of people out there that share like a common mindset about things. Like that whole money and plot on him, and I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna get that. Like that's like a common thing, whether you have a lot of money or not. Like I don't make a ton of money. I would be 100% sure that somebody in some other situations would be plotting on my money.
Yeah, and people would be. Like a lot of people, like girls in general, like I said, even low level, like girls are out here making 20, 30,000 a year. I'm sure they're plotting on people who are making 80 to 100. Like, and that might not be a lot to a lot of people because like 80 to 100 still is like, I think in our perspective, that's low. That's entry, like kind of like mid entry level. But for somebody else who's making 30, 20, they're looking at that person like oh, he could buy, he could pay probably my phone bill, or he could buy me some nice things here and there more often than I could even buy myself. So, like you said, yeah, they're both actors, but that's Johnny Depp. Amber Heard is not on Johnny Depp level.
Not nowhere close.
Never even heard of her like before this.
That's a fact.
So she definitely was plotting, and look, she left $7 million. That's what this is. This is a
defamation
suing. Like he's trying to get that money back too, low key, because it's like they had her settlement already where he gave her $7 million.
But he's probably coming for more than the 7. He's probably coming.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be more. Yeah,
he's coming for the loss of whatever. Yeah, advertising.
Because he lost a lot. Like they cut him from like Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. I heard like I think they said did they cut him out the movie? They said he's the main character.
Yeah, they're not going to do any more ever, and he just came out.
I heard they removed him from like the roller coaster or something, like from rides. I don't know. I heard you've been since.
No.
You haven't been to
I haven't been since this happened.
Well, no, but this happened. This is like where all the main stuff happened, where he lost that happened in like 2017.
No, I haven't been there since.
Okay.
Last time I went to Disney was 2013 or 14.
So you haven't been able to even tell if stuff was removed.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
And there was obviously future movies that were created and are still being created that he's not a part of, and he'll never be a part of. Because he said like he'll never
do it again. That's what I was about to say.
That's the principle. Like, come on, you cut me without proof. And I get, like, that's what Disney got to do. Like, at the end of the day, they're protecting their business. And I get, but at the same time, it's like, all the money I put in your pocket and I work for you this long, you're going to turn your back with no, like, hearing my side of the story.
But this is why we were having that Grammys conversation where we're giving these companies so much power and, like, status. It's like, nah. Like,
and you heard what Pusha T said. They called Kanye back.
Yeah.
Trying to get him to perform. It's like, nah, are you stupid?
Like, what are we talking about here? Like, that's where the big-headedness of companies come from, where they think that they don't need people.
Yeah.
Like, companies think that they don't need their employees. They think that they don't need, like, production companies feel like they don't need actors. They feel like they can be successful, and they don't really pay attention to the importance of the people.
Yeah. Like, and I get they're protecting their brand, but it's like, come on, like you're gonna prioritize, like, I don't know, because like, I mean, if Johnny Depp really was really guilty of all the things that she said, I get why you want to cut him. I get that. Right. But it's like we didn't even get his side at that point.
Exactly. You should take a neutral position. Like I don't care what your company is, because I don't know if you've seen, maybe one of these days we'll really get into how nasty Disney is in itself. There was something where like I believe it's the teaching of, I kind of want to look this up because I don't want to botch this, but I think there was some recent thing in Florida where they didn't want to teach the kids the LGBTQ.
Yeah, like them doing their gender identities.
Yeah, the LGBTQ laws. Yeah. So like Disney initially was like, they were on the side of the Florida legislation. Like, yeah, we don't agree that these laws should be passed or something to that effect.
But all of a sudden,
then they got the backlash immediately, of course. And then they flipped their position, and now they just lost legislation that's been in place for, I don't even know how many years, maybe 50 years, that allowed them to be their own self-governing, like they're basically their own government in Florida, which is crazy. But now that's gone because they just opposed Florida's thing. But it's like they took the stance, and then now they didn't take the stance once, like
they sway to whatever's popular.
Yeah, whatever is gonna make them more money, which is crazy.
Yeah, just stand on what you stand on.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the thing with every company. Like,
Disney's
every
nasty.
Company likes to sway along with like liberal views because that's usually a more popular view. So crazy.
Well, it's not the more popular view. It's the view that typically makes the most money. Like the liberals typically make more money than Republicans. Yeah. And that's what they care about is the profit, which is not like wrong, but these situations.
Yeah.
You know, it's just gonna highlight how dumb y'all look. But
Yeah, and that's the thing. They could have, like you said, they could have been neutral. Like with the Travis
like
Scott
nobody asked.
situation, like with Astroworld, you saw like Nike didn't cancel their collab; they just put it on halt. Fortnite was ready to cancel everything and throw stuff out. I was like, wow, like you'd even like why? That's the funny thing. Can you know the flips happen is gonna happen again? Like this song that just came out with him, everybody loves it. So the flip's gonna happen. Everybody's gonna figure all about Astroworld. Like, you know, people are still gonna know what happened, obviously, and acknowledge it. And it was still a very obviously sad situation. But it's like the flip's gonna happen. Where everybody's gonna love Travis again. Fortnite's gonna feel stupid.
It's that cancel culture.
It's just weird. Like piss off on halt. Like Nike
or
paused,
don't.
yeah, or don't. Just let it keep going. Like this is so weird.
They acting like Travis had and no disrespect, and I really don't want to be disrespectful because people lost their lives, but they be acting like Travis had a gun up on the stage.
Yeah, and he did that.
Shooting people.
And like it's just the crazy thing because like I don't understand how people like Travis has had so many concerts. Why do you think this one was so different that he would have intentionally killed people? Like it's just so stupid that people like and these companies don't think about that stuff either. They just see whatever's hype. If it wasn't a major outrage towards Travis, nothing would have happened. Nothing would have changed. If all the outrage went to the Live Nation or whatever. And the crazy thing is Live Nation is going to leave out as untouched. I'm sure they didn't get hit with nothing. Like well, no, but lawsuits. I'm talking about like cancellations and stuff.
Oh, people not going to Live Nation concerts and
yeah, because it's like Travis Scott is her image. So he gets that direct hit. But it's like, oh, these big companies like Universal or like Live Nation or who else was involved? They said, I forgot.
Universal, Live Nation, Apple, I think.
Yeah,
because Apple was the live stream.
Nobody's gonna stop buying iPhones. No one's gonna stop going to Live Nation concerts, Live Nation sponsored concerts, because nobody does that much research. But they're gonna stop buying Travis Scott clothes and stop buying the shoes, selling the shoes, not going to his concert. It's like that's crazy because how come no one else who's responsible getting heat? So
yeah,
it's just messed up.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, that's how I feel about like the Johnny Depp situation. Like the money is gonna be crazy if he wins. And he's the one suing. That's the crazy part. The only reason this case is open is because of him. He's the one suing. So
good for him. Hopefully he gets what's deserved. And like I said, I'm not trying to take a specific position, but my position is always going to be on what's right or what's wrong.
Yeah.
So if Amber ends up being the wrong party, then hopefully he gets what he deserves. And if he ends up being the wrong party, then hopefully nothing happens. But that's where I always side. I'm not picking a side. I'm just picking the truth and what's right and what's wrong.
Yep, and at the end of the day, who cares? Like, you know, if he's saying crazy stuff, text messages, did he actually do it? That's the thing. And the jury's gonna have to think about that. It's like, okay, yeah, he might have said all this crazy stuff because there was something about how he wanted to like. He said he wanted to like kill her and burn her body and then have sex with the dead corpse, of her. And it's like, did he do it though?
Sorry, y'all, we had a little bit of a technical issue there. We're back. For those of you that are listening, it should be fine. But those of you that are watching, sorry, we had a little technical glitch, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying like, you know, there was those text messages where he was like texting his friend saying that like he wanted to like kill her and burn her body and then like have sex with the burnt corpse. So it's like when the jury's hearing that, they're probably like, oh my God, like he's probably so violent and crazy. But it's like we all say crazy things like that. And it's like the bottom line is, did he do it though? Like Amber actually physically abused him, like hit him, throw stuff. His finger was off. Like there's like concrete proof. Like you could see his finger wrapped in the movie. They had to use CGI. Like, do you know that? In one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Oh my, I can't talk. One of the Pirates of the Caribbean. How do you say it? Caribbean?
Whichever one.
In one of the movies, they said that his finger was actually wrapped during the movie, and they used CGI to replace the finger. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Like if you really think about it.
So his finger is like still messed up. I would assume it is.
I would assume probably there's definitely some stitching or something that you see.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's like you had to compare that to him, the messages. It's like people say crazy stuff all the time. We all text each other crazy, and it sucks that that's going to be used like against him. But it's like at the bottom line is saying crazy things in text messages is not the same thing as actually physically harming somebody. So that's like the bottom line here, and that's why I hope the jury sees. I hope the jury sees that like Johnny Depp had pictures of bruises, like literally pictures. And you just have text messages like of him being angry and videos of him throwing glasses and stuff like at the wall, not at you. Or just banging stuff, like banging cabinets. Or him moaning on a plane because he's taking drugs, like he's a drug addict. That being a drug addict and an alcohol abuser or alcoholic doesn't make you a physical abuser or domestic violence suspect or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last thing real quick too, they used, I guess Thursday or Friday, they showed that the makeup palette that she said that she had in her purse at all times to cover bruises.
Yeah,
and apparently the company came out and said that that palette wasn't even out yet. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting.
Yeah. If you're going to lie, make sure your lie is put together.
Yeah.
And that's also perjury, by the way.
Really? Wow. And Milani might be like, Sue could have like, because why are we in it?
Yeah, you can't lie in court, and that's clearly a lie. Yeah. So technically perjury.
I wonder if that's going to come up next week, because like, you know, every day and even before breaks, the judge says don't talk to nobody about the case, don't do research. So technically, if that was admissible, it might. I mean, they could lie and be like, we just researched ourselves and so that didn't come out. They might have seen the TikTok, but they can't say they've seen it on TikTok. They could just say that they did their research and saw that the palette wasn't out. So I would hope somehow maybe that got in their ear and they bring that up.
Probably, if they were smart, they would find a legal way around it. But if not, then is like
get in trouble,
horrible,
and it actually could compromise the case.
The whole case.
If you prove that you got outside influence.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Hopefully, it's wrapped up soon. So
yeah.
They could just move forward.
But. Yeah. In other nasty news, so I don't know if you saw this, but this was well, you did see it. Mm-hmm. So there was that like surfaced audio, I think, and I'm assuming it was from the Rory and Mal Patreon. I'm just gonna assume that because I don't think it was an actual episode, but where Rory was like going in on Trey Songz about his allegations and said that if his doc ever comes out, it would be nastier than R. Kelly's.
And that he's so disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy because when there's always like, I feel like that one person that accuses someone of doing something and then they immediately don't get the benefit of the doubt, and it's always immediately like skeptical, like he didn't do that, blah blah blah. But then as things come out, then it becomes more like, oh yeah, he did it for sure, because more stories come out. Maybe there's
so many stories at this point.
Yeah, too. Like I think because one of the first stories we got was from Kiki, right?
Yeah.
And then nobody believed her, and people thought she was clout chasing and she was just doing it for the attention, whatever. And I understand that we've now like kind of been in a position where there's so many women that lie about these sorts of things.
So you have to kind of think twice. But it's like, what would Kiki gain from lying?
Right. And maybe she would gain something, but just in general, like it's like a tough situation. Like, but that's why I try not to judge these situations. And like when she said that, I was never like, he did it, and I was never like, nah, she's lying. Yeah. Because what do I have to judge that based off of? Like, I wasn't there. Yeah. I'm not going off of his word, and I'm not going off of her word. And I don't know if there's any way to really prove it, but I start to tend to side with, the women when there's more stories and when the stories are consistent with one another. Yeah. And if they're providing a certain level of detail, because
you know what else was? Oh yeah.
Selena Powell.
Yeah. And like her friend, they're weird. They think like there's something wrong with them. They said it was like weird for them, but they liked it apparently. Like him, like I think he like peed on one of them, and like, which is aggressive. And they said like kept one of her trapped like for 3 days in the apartment, took her phone.
Yeah, that was Selena that was telling that part of the story. I think he peed on her in the bathtub or something.
And then there's a singer too. Remember, there was like an interview she did, and she said that she was at a wedding. And that Trey Songz like approached her at the wedding and like kind of trapped her into like a room and was like kind of getting like really sexual with her. I might have looked it up real quick. I forgot who it was. Somebody irrelevant. But that's kind of when people. The messed up part is that's kind of when people's opinion changed when a white woman came out and said something.
Yeah, and then there was also the recent accusation with her
player.
Her name was Dylan, right? Yeah, Dylan Gonzalez, with another accusation. And to me, like, we don't have proof, evidence, whatever, but I'm going to side with women on this one just because of my own bias. And I don't want to, hopefully nobody puts this out as being defamatory. Like, I don't want to be getting hit with those type of charges, whatever. But I'm saying, in my opinion, and this is all alleged, and this is all my personal bias, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. And I mean, I kind of was surprised though, because like, in high school and middle school, like
here we
Trey
go.
Songz was like,
I knew it was
one of my like
coming.
crushes, whatever. Like you could literally like if we wanted to, we could pull the picture of my locker like that my friends did.
I think every girl was like that.
They literally decorated my locker. Like it was funny because like it was me, and to me was Chris Brown, mine was Trey Songz. So he was always like, and they both turned out to be like a mess. But no, that was just a thing. 15, 16-year-old in 2012, like that's kind of a typical. So for me, I was like, if somebody's like him is so desirable, how do you end up being like that? Because I think that's what it is. It gets in their head that they're so desirable that they want everybody, and when they can't get everybody, it makes them mad.
I think it's a bunch of things, and hopefully we don't get flagged for this because this is kind of like gonna get a little graphic, I guess. But in my opinion, here's my personal opinion. What happens in these situations, especially with guys like Trey Songz, where I don't want to say any other names because it's going to sound like I'm grouping them in this group, and I really don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. But I think that there's a group of those type of singers or rappers or whatever where all these girls were going through their growing periods, like becoming a woman when you're younger in high school, middle school, whatever. And they look to these grown ass men and they were like, oh my God, like you're like lusting over a grown man. It's like, it's like kind of nuts.
Now I think about it, it's weird.
It's super nuts. Like, so because of that, y'all are old now.
Yeah.
Y'all are older. So it's not illegal anymore for him. So he's gonna be a nasty man and go out and do these type of things. But because he had like a whole generation of young girls, because it's not just you, like it's mad girls, like
that's the thing,
all
like,
on their
it was
wallpaper.
the girls that were his age and like in their 20s, but now you have a whole wave of girls that like are now like our age, like we're now in our 20s that are gonna flock to you. Because
these new girls, they may know who Trey Songz is, but Trey Songz isn't popping right now. Like they don't,
like Gen Z, they don't think
they don't really care.
Younger Gen Z, they probably don't really know him like that. They don't care. Like even people like Maya's age, it was never like, oh my God, Trey Songz. Like Maya was, I don't think, and she's only 6 years younger.
They were beyond that. So like
it was like we were like that last wave, our age group, and we're like you said, we're 25 now, 24. Like
so, I think
even Selena Powell was like our age, so that makes sense. Like it's like.
That generation.
Yeah.
And now it's so accessible because all you gotta do is send a DM and then you're there and now you're fulfilling your childhood fantasies.
Yeah.
So I think that because of that, he basically had the ability to get this whole generation of women, was able to just probably take down like 20 girls a night, whatever. And eventually, in my opinion, because I'm not like that, obviously. It gets old and you get bored and then you want to try experimenting and doing different things.
So that's
and
why
that's why you peeing on somebody, because you feel like that power. Because in my opinion,
taking the phone away. Yeah,
like that psychological thing. Like my opinion about a majority of men, and this is generalizing, and I'm saying this without thinking. I think a lot of sex for men and their pleasure with it is the dominance and the power aspect of it, more so than the act itself, or more so than the way it feels itself. Like men want women to do certain acts in that because they feel powerful. Like they want to look down on a woman, they want to pee on them because they feel like they're like disrespecting them, like they get off on demeaning and blah blah blah. Some women may like that. Not knocking it. We're never knocking, what people's preferences.
But that's just if your boundaries. Like she didn't think she was about to get peed on. It's like, did you even ask? Like, is that like you do even?
That's a wild question.
That's the thing. Is like, if you guys agree that's what you want, and it's like, okay,
then cool.
Then we good. But it's like if you're doing it unprovoked, it's like,
yeah. If you're not having them discussions, and I know men's opinion is gonna be like, if you're getting with a girl that's just one of those, and because I don't want to say it in a disrespectful way.
No, they think that just because they're like a thought or like a passed around that they don't care to respect them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that they don't respect themselves. It's like they might respect themselves. They just like
And he been in this business a long time. Like, and you see, like even when Meg was all over him in the club, that one video, like it's just this whole generation. I think that he was going crazy. Yeah, I think he was going crazy. I'm sure he's even in the industry. Like that's not even. I'm sure he's taking down top
I'm sure his body count is in the thousands.
1,000%.
Definitely over 1,000.
So because of that, I just think that he's just nasty, and I think that he just abuses women.
And I feel like you become kind of
allegedly
an addict too.
Yeah, you become an addict, and now you need different ways to get off, and then that's where you see the instances where like, and there's nothing wrong with homosexuality. I'm not trying to say that, but
that's when they start dipping into that.
Yeah, because now you need the next thing, your next power. Your power trip, like you need something else, and that's where people that were in this industry, they were like, you'll be surprised who's done that kind of stuff. But it's like No, you could probably tell because it's just a certain type of guy, in my opinion. And that's not me being on no hater shit. It's just like you see so many instances of it. People be on the top of the world and then you become unfulfilled because money doesn't buy happiness, like they say. I think money can put you in a position where you don't have to worry about certain things, but money doesn't buy you happiness. That stops fulfilling you. Like, I don't mean to throw Drake in this situation, in this conversation, but you see him gambling a lot now because the money is not fulfilling anymore. Then eventually you have so much sex, the sex not fulfilling anymore. It's
kind of sad.
Nothing becomes fulfilling.
It's almost
anymore.
it's almost like it's not like for me. I wouldn't even want to attain that. I feel like I'm good as being a regular person.
Yeah, that's what they usually say, and when I'm not, and we're not sympathizing with him, but that's just my psychological breakdown opinion on what this happened or what's happening or happened with him.
And I think it could be good if you have family and you have people. Like, think people like Trey Songz and Drake, they don't have no stable relationships.
We're not throwing Drake in this conversation.
No, but I'm saying, like, I couldn't know you brought him up. I'm saying they don't have stable relationships. They don't have like Drake, for example, brought all those Birkins just for what? For your future wife that you don't even have. Like, why don't you worry about, like, why don't you focus on getting a wife first? Like, and I get it. It's probably hard for people like them to find people, people who are not gold diggers or users. I get that. But at the same time, there's plenty of other celebrities that have stable relationships, so, and are happy. They're rich and still happy and fulfilled.
None of them on Drake's level though. Might be like
Beyonce and Jay-Z. They good. Beyonce and Jay-Z are good.
You think Beyonce is bigger than Drake?
I think worldwide Beyonce is still more relevant than Drake, more known.
Okay.
Like, cause Beyonce is Beyonce. Like, Drake is a specific genre. Not everybody likes rap, but Beyonce is pop and R&B. That's more of like a worldwide thing. People love Beyonce all over the world. So I think, I still think Beyonce is bigger than Drake.
Okay.
Just because it fulfills more categories.
I don't disagree. I was just a curious thing. And we damn sure not going off of Instagram followers. I wasn't even trying to bring that up either. But
that doesn't mean nothing.
But yeah.
So I think that's obviously a part of it. Like, a lot of these men that are unfulfilled and women are usually single, lonely. They're lonely, and the money, after a while, like I said, the money and all the girls that you get doesn't fulfill what life is really all about. Starting your family, having a stable home life, and
also to jump in with in addition to that is you see how nasty it gets in business as well with the business CEOs and Bill Gates.
The same thing with them
cheating on his wife with someone low level at the company. Like, it gets crazy.
And then Jeff Bezos.
It's all over the place, and we don't know why they did it, because
they want to fulfill their early 20s teen dreams, and they don't care about their wife no more.
I'm 99% sure that's why.
Yeah, and they feel they got money, and they feel that's how they're gonna do it. Now they can get any girl they want.
And this is where we get the R. Kelly's and allegedly the Trey Songz of the world. But yeah, if his doc does come out,
BB Rexa, by the way.
Oh wow.
She was the one. They was at the wedding. She said that they were at the pool house, and when he pushed her up against the wall and tried to kiss her, and then he said, "Let's do this." And this is where it came out at this interview. She rejected his sexual advances, and he said that he was just kidding. What the heck was that? Like, that's sick. There's mad stories, and who else had a story? Oh, well, the recent thing, that's why you brought it up, is because that girl got groped, right?
Yeah.
You saw the video?
No.
Yeah, it was like obvious.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, this was the girl, Eliza. That was her. The one that was Selena's friends. She got peed on and stuff.
Yeah, it's just nasty. I mean, I don't want to say I hope the doc comes out, because, hopefully these things aren't true, because, again, it's all alleged. But, well, I don't know about that video evidence, but it's all alleged. So hopefully, I don't know, man. But yeah.
The crazy part is a doc might come out.
It might come out.
And like Rory said, it will be like 5-10 years from now.
Yeah, Hulu is working on it right now. I'm 100% sure.
I'm sure they are.
Hulu and Netflix definitely working on a doc right this very second. Amazon Prime.
Because one thing about this industry loves to do
Max.
is to break down black men. And I hate to use that whole black men thing, because they're not all victims. But they're going to jump on opportunities to tear down a black man's legacy. For sure.
Because where's the Weinstein doc?
Yeah, right?
I ain't seen a Weinstein doc.
Me neither.
Where's the
I'm sure it might come out.
They did the Epstein one. Where's the Weinstein one, which is probably a lot worse?
Yeah, we need the Weinstein doc.
Show me that.
That will make bank. Netflix needs their comeback. So Netflix, if you guys are watching,
because Oprah was quick to jump on the R. Kelly thing, but where's the Weinstein thing? She was all hugged up on photos with him. Go help them produce that doc too.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother conversation. Like obviously all these men are nasty, but there is a nastiness that goes on with them. I'm trying to tear down the black men specifically, and all the attention that goes when it's a black man who's the perpetrator.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trey Songz nasty. That been gone. He's not even attractive to me. Like that was just me thinking that he was cute at 15. Like now I look at it, he is kind of ugly. Well, I don't want to say he's ugly, but he's just not my type.
Okay. We didn't need that.
No, I'm saying it's just funny, like that switch when you become an adult and you see how nasty people are. That was only 10 years difference. 10-year change of mindset.
Staying in nasty news. So I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't really read in depth into it because, it's a tough thing when people are talking about their traumas and, struggles and things that they're going through. So sometimes I try to tend not to watch the videos themselves, but if somebody, has like a written version of what the person said, I prefer to read it versus seeing it just because, I want to protect, I care about the advancing of the conversation and I care about the people, but, in terms of protecting my own personal feelings, I don't want to be sad for the day because of what other people are going through on the internet. But Quen Blackwell and Diplo situation. So
more came out of this.
I'm not sure. Go give what you said. What you
only
saw.
thing I saw was like a while ago, like her saying like I don't know. She said something, but like somebody I saw something about her that he was like grooming her.
Okay, so more came out then.
Okay,
I think.
I don't know.
So did you see the video, the TikTok she posted?
No.
Okay, so then
she posted recently.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 days ago or 3 days ago.
Yikes.
Crying on TikTok.
Yikes.
Okay, so basically, for those of you that don't know the background, Diplo is a producer. Unfortunately, I like Diplo's production, so that's not important at all, especially in this situation. But Diplo's a popular producer, DJ, travels around the world, has done a lot of really big songs. Whatever, we don't need to give out his
Revolution,
accolades.
Right? The one that came out when we was in high school, like It's a Revolution.
Did Diplo do that?
Let me look it up.
He probably did. He's done a lot of songs. Like, I don't really listen to that type of music, but he does dabble in hip hop and stuff sometimes. So I've heard some of that stuff. But nonetheless, Diplo is obviously a large producer, and because of that, just naturally, anybody that's trying to get introduced into music is going to want to work with someone that's already established.
2014 Diplo.
They're going to want to connect with somebody that's already established in the industry. And, Quen is kind of in that industry because all industries are basically blended together. Like all of the popular people, whether it's music, acting, whatever, it's all just one giant circle at this point. Mm-hmm. So she's trying to, she has her status as herself on social media. And I'm sure she got introduced to either Diplo probably either reached out to her.
Yeah, once you have followers or you go viral, you're in everybody's
accepted.
scope.
Yeah, you're accepted. It's like, oh, they got 1 million followers. All right, they're cool. Let me invite them to go somewhere. So I don't know how they.
Or like you said, they might have met like at an event. Yeah, they all be at the same parties and events and stuff.
Or she reached out. I'm not really familiar with how they met. Mm-hmm. So I'm just now privy to this because I wasn't aware of this situation until literally like a few days ago.
Oh yeah, see, I knew that she lived at his house, and like everybody thought it was like oh, that's people thought it was kind of weird, but she was like assuring people that like, oh no, he's never here. I just live here.
Yeah,
and that was like a year ago, 2 years ago. Like that was during COVID. I feel like.
Yeah, I just found out about that. So, basically, what's come out now is. And my understanding, because I didn't want to watch the TikTok and I feel like an irresponsible reporter, journalist type person for not doing my due diligence and actually watching what she said.
I didn't even watch it.
But I read through it and basically she was crying because it's looking like the grooming thing is what happened. And I think what's happening is that, allegedly he's done this to other black women too, is that he is allegedly being predatory towards black women. Kind of like doing that creepy photographer, producer type thing. Like, I could get you this opportunity, come live with me, blah, 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 blah. And with her living with him, then that gives him more of an opportunity and access to do whatever. It's like, oh, let's have a drink night, that kind of thing. Whatever. So
I always sympathize with grooming victims, but some things are just so obvious to me, though. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, but you know what?
And people thought it was weird. They're like, why do you live with this
yeah, it
grown
is
man?
weird.
And she was like, oh, no, he's like, we're friends. I'm like, okay, you're friends with like a 40-year-old? Okay.
Yeah. So allegedly that's what kind of happened. He kind of dangled that thing in because literally that's the difference between, you know, money and no money. Like Diplo's a huge producer. If he produces your song, promotes it, like your whole life is gonna go up. And it's another one of those Weinstein type situations where somebody dangle and allegedly
They use their power.
they use their power, their status, whatever, dangle it in front of you for trying to, you know, get something out of you. And supposedly that's what he did. He kind of tried to groom her. And I don't know if assault did happen. And I call it assault because coercion is, you know, assault.
Yeah.
But I think that based on her sadness and crying, I think that's what happened. Like he was like, what I would imagine allegedly
Like
happened.
something happened.
Yeah, physically, with the expectation that that was going to, you know, he was going to help her with her musical career. So that's basically the story.
I just feel like I know like it's always a case by case basis, and there are actual good people out there, but I just feel like I don't know, if I was famous, I would just know. Like there's certain things I would just know. I'd be like, come on, this grown 40-year-old man has a living house. I know that world's different too. So sometimes it's different. Sometimes there are men that probably do that who are genuine and look at you as like their daughter. But I just feel like that's something for me. Like, nah, I'm not living in this man's house.
We are okay. I'm gonna.
But we're not in that world.
Okay.
We're not in that world. So
yeah, because there's couch hopping and people sleep on people's couches. I know that whole culture is different. But you've had experiences yourself, and I don't necessarily want to expose them here, where stuff like that has happened.
But I knew it was bad. I think I thought like.
No, not initially. No.
Well, not initially, but then yeah, after. I feel like,
after my reaction.
No, and honestly, the only reason too is that this person happened to be so upfront.
Yeah.
The crazy part about it, if he wasn't upfront, I could have ended up in a really bad situation.
Right.
If I was over there.
Right.
That was a scary situation. I just thought about that recently because that guy who got convicted. That was his approach. The guy, who was his name?
The photographer guy?
Yeah, who was on that show or a movie. That black guy who just got arrested. He got like 100 years. I forgot his name, but I was like, that's why I thought about that. I was like, oh my god.
But this stuff happens. Like,
yeah, and I mean, think about the comparison. Quinn was around the same age I was. That photography situation happened when I was 19.
Right.
I think that's around her age. She's like 19, 20.
And you seeing at that time. I don't know if I should say this because, I mean, it's general. People are not going to figure it out. That person ended up at, you know, sitting behind Kim Kardashian at MSG, like during the Kanye shows and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, so it's not, he was kind of a person of status. So it's kind of like a similar situation.
And at that point, he used the fact that he had the brand. But clearly the MSG thing was only a year after.
Yeah, right. So it wasn't immediately there, but, you know.
But yeah,
I'm sure he might have had that connection before that. Who knows?
That was so scary. Now that I think about it, ugh, he looked like nah. Am I being racist by saying that? Thinking all Indians look the same.
Oh, Nav.
Nav.
Oh, I know what you were saying. I thought you were saying he looked like Nah.
I said Nav.
Oh no, he looked like Nav.
He was creepy looking too. But back then I was thirsty for the opportunity. I really wanted to be a streetwear model.
There's more to that story, but obviously I don't want to say it on here.
Yeah, but he was direct.
No, not even
Thank God he was, because then I would prevented myself from being over there.
Yeah. But it's just another one of those situations, allegedly. But that's my opinion on what happened. Cause,
yeah, and that's why I don't want to be a victim blamer when I was in myself in a similar predicament. That could have went bad. But that's what I'm saying. There's certain things I would have realized were immediate red flags.
But you didn't. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you didn't, but I'm trying not to, like, say it on the camera because that's your own personal business.
I don't care. That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but we ain't doing that.
6 years ago, right? Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just a lot of situations like that. And hopefully she's okay. I mean, she looked really, really distraught. Let me see if I can find the TikTok so I could be a little bit more responsible. But yeah, you know, and supposedly he's just doing this to black women as well. So I don't know.
Interesting.
And we don't want to put any accusations on people, but this is just what here, let me see if I could find it. But yeah, it's just another example. And you know, everybody should Oh, supposedly this happened like 2 weeks ago, I think, or last week.
The video?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
Jesus Christ. Card.
No, that's the people below us.
Oh, that's not a car?
Nah.
It's not a car speakers.
I can't find it. Did she take it down?
Just go to her TikTok.
I don't have. Oh wait, I do have TikTok.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm not gonna clean this up, but I was gonna try to play the audio, but yeah. So hopefully she's okay, and hopefully people keep reporting people like that.
Knowing her, she probably deleted it.
Yeah, she probably deleted it. Hopefully people
But I'm sure you can find it on YouTube or something.
keep talking about instances like this, and this is where the unfortunate part about the Drewski skit Backlash. Unfortunately, that happened because that skit like highlights these sorts of scenarios where guys are being weird. I knew that was gonna happen. I was gonna tell you to not.
Oh, my mirror.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Grooming is crazy.
I'm gonna try to find it. Give me 1 second.
It is a shame though that there are so many situations like this though. Cause even like we were talking about R. Kelly, like the R. Kelly thing was a form of grooming in many ways with the young girls, promising them like the career. It's a shame.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so sad actually.
It's been happening for the past 2 years, so I understand why nothing has been released, and it seems like I've not been doing shit. This producer told me to come out here when I was 17, and I came out here when I was 18, and I didn't know what I was coming out here for, really, but then I started making music, and then a whole bunch of producers like, wait, this is really good music, so I stopped working on myself at all, and like, on my own craft, and like comedy and stuff, and I've just been making music for the past 2 years, right? Good. I love my music. My music's been a journal to me through all the bullshit I've dealt with from someone older, like wanting to help me, but essentially just like seeing a young creative with lighting them and wanting to own them and have them a part of your crew and shit. It's so weird. So then when I wake up out of the fog and haze from like living over there and living with these producers and shit, like I have all this music, but then they're like, wait for the perfect time, and there's no perfect. Like, release your creations, you do it as you make them, but no one would fucking help me till this day. No one will fucking help me. You would think like you're in LA, you can figure it all out. Like everyone's so burnt out and they don't want to do shit and they don't want to like have hope for anything. Any other music people I call, they're like, it's the worst time ever in the music industry. Like, I don't give a fuck, I just want to release music. I've got release dates since 2020 and nothing has been released. It's April of 2022. I'm 21 now. Like, I want to release music. I just don't know how to.
That's just she was 17.
Huh?
That's just she got fooled out 17 or 18. 19, 20. Okay.
And I don't know why, because I'm not a bad person. I'm just bad shit to them. I don't know why. But now I just feel so lost in myself because I haven't been working on something all this time. It's just no one's helping me make anything come to fruition. So I'm just sitting, like, really asking for music and stuff. I'm like, what have you even been doing? And my friend's like, what have you been doing? It's like, I've been trying to release music. But everyone who said they would help me didn't have the facilities to do it, and they just lied, I guess. I don't know. I don't feel.
But why would they lie though? What would be the point?
I wake up depressed every day. It's
Hold
like
up.
when you come to LA, don't trust what everyone's saying around you like I did, because then you'll just sit stuck and like kind of hopeless. And I should be hopeless so young, But I'm gonna figure out a way to drop my music. I'm gonna figure out a way to do it, even though it's not gonna be the biggest thing in the world, because that's everything you're trying to do up. But I'll do it for myself. Asking for music and stuff, like, where are you even?
Yeah. So basically, what she was trying to say. Let's turn this off. That was just her response to other people's TikTok comments. So the person was like wondering where her music was at, and she was just explaining why the music hasn't come out. And the caption itself, and this is from Def Noodle's Instagram. TikTok star Quentin Blackwell has reignited online rumors that Diplo groomed her as a teenager in new viral TikToks, as she spoke about how she was not in a good situation and accused 40-year-olds of normalizing an inappropriate relationship she had with an unnamed person.
So you just think she's maybe holding back details?
Yeah, because I'm sure she doesn't want to just, completely, because that's what happens. You put out those accusations, and then you're like blacklisted from the industry.
Maybe they didn't release the music because they didn't get something in return from her.
That's exactly what would happen.
Wow.
And this is my own personal bias. Like, I'll have a moment of candidacy, whatever the word is here, candidness. Men in power do some like real weird, nasty behavior. And I've been around men that do that and that don't have power. I've been around men that do that do have power, that do have more money. And men are just like that. Like, I could 1,000% see, like, even the Lotto situation with they didn't want to do the verse because she wouldn't do anything physical with them. Like, that really does happen. Like, that's really common. Like,
yeah. And even like when DDG and Ruby were went through their breakup. Or no, it was before. Like, they were always off and on, but I remember there was a hacker that hacked her Twitter and released DMs. And me and you used to do this petty, stupid stuff when we were young. Like when we blocked your number, so we would be fighting on Instagram DMs or Twitter DMs. So embarrassing because they're grown. They're not much younger than us, like a year behind doing that still. But I guess there was DMs obviously between them two on Twitter because they probably was arguing on Twitter. And then he said something along the lines, like said that she was like sleeping with music execs and like people in her label, I guess, to get far. Which makes sense. Like, somebody like her who's like considered desirable, I'm sure it's probably true. Why would he say that? Like, unless he was just being insecure and making up stuff. And then people,
he might have been.
Even there was an interview with her and L.A. Reid, and people in the comments were like, "Oh, she probably slept with L.A. Reid." Who knows? You just never know.
I'm not gonna put that on him, but that's like not even an unknown thing that 100%. The men in the industry do that because they're the gatekeepers, and it's like, well, what you gonna do?
And she seems like she's desperate for her career to go off, and it's not really even going anywhere, to be honest.
Supposedly, that's because she needs to link with me and use my beats. Ruby, hit me. We're gonna get chipped.
She's not gonna want to really give it. I'm talking shit.
That's why you need to stop talking shit because I'm never gonna get out of here.
No, I like Ruby. I do. I think she has a really unique voice.
Yeah, I made beats.
I just feel like she got groomed. Speaking of grooming, by the Ian Connors of the world, and it just messed her up, and she's very. Yeah, she doesn't know her worth and just has trust issues and problems.
Maybe we'll do a Ruby Rose breakdown one day.
Yeah.
I actually have a think piece about Ruby Rose, but
because she was like 16 and 17, whatever, when she was messing with him.
Yeah, we'll do a breakdown.
So nasty.
Maybe next pod. But yeah. So not that supposedly, allegedly, because we don't have any real proof of anything.
It's like a thing though. Like sleeping with the execs for your deals and for releases and for collabs.
But for men too.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Oh, the woman.
No, men and men.
Oh, I heard about that too.
Supposedly, we don't have any real hard proof of that, but I've heard that. And given what we were just talking about, the Trey Songz thing, where men start dabbling into that because they don't feel fulfilled anymore, it wouldn't be far off.
Yeah, I believe it. I would love to really know the details, but I'm sure some nasty stuff goes on because it's power. And people know that people are hungry for success and money. And the people who have that ability for you to reach that are in control. The sick ones are going to use that to their advantage. That's
why I caution women against, there's nothing. Can we say it? Sometimes I feel like we can't say things because they're not going to be widely accepted.
What?
Fuck, I'll stay on the ledge. Sex workers.
Yeah.
We try to be all inclusive of sex workers because it's like the right thing to do. We don't want to shame them. We consume their work 100%. I definitely don't want to do that. But in general, and this actually leads perfectly into our next topic, but in general, it's not the best profession in the world to do. Like, it's just not. It's not sustainable. It's not safe. It's not sustainable.
That's the funny thing. They'll be talking like,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous. A lot of them were talking about like, oh, I'm rich. I got a bag. I got more money than you. It's like, are you going to have more money than me though? And at the extent of both of our lives? Probably not, because I'm making consistent checks every single 2 weeks.
And some of them may.
I have a 401k. Yeah, some of them might be smart and putting that money up to retirement.
No,
I
but
would
some
hope
of-
they open an IRA and are being smart.
No, some of them are really making it, but those are like the legends that really have real money.
Yeah, and for the legends, sometimes it is sustainable because they get them residual. The people are still watching their stuff to this day. Their older stuff.
Yeah.
But, it's obviously sex work is multiple things. Prostitution is not sustainable.
Yeah. So
This girl said by the time you're 21, 22, you feel like you're 60. She said in that world, they like young girls.
yeah.
They're sick. They like you when you're 18. Sometimes they said of underage girls on the street. They said by the time you're like 22, 21, 22, 23, you're considered like washed and you feel drained. So it's not sustainable. But the OnlyFans stuff, unless you like a legend, it's not sustainable.
I knew it was gonna happen. I forgot why I brought it up. What were we talking about?
We was talking about
Damn, I knew that was gonna happen.
no, you were saying it was
God.
dangerous. You listen to this all the reasons that it's not like
No, before that, I know what I just
before
said.
that we were talking about like grooming in the industry and people sleeping with the music execs.
Damn, I forgot.
And then
No, I had such a good point too.
okay, well, let's try to spark your mind. You said we were talking about like
Oh
how,
yeah, I said we had another topic after that. Hold up.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we don't want to shame them in that sense, but it is a pretty wild like
Industry,
occupation.
Yeah.
And there's just so much like, I don't know, there's just so much using and abusing in like all of these different industries. I really forget what my point was though.
I think we were saying that, like how there's some really nice stuff in the industry that we don't know about. So
Oh yeah. It was about like the women that want to that like accept and do those things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's only 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever.
like they're trying to justify it.
In their own mind, but that lasting impact is like forever. And the reason why I brought up the sex workers in general was because like it sounds good, but then you realize the psychological impacts that's going to have on you in the future. And
Is
I feel
that
like,
whole too good to be true mindset?
yeah, like, okay, you're going to get $3,000 for an hour of work. Sure. But you in your mind, you're not going to be okay. Like you're going to think about it later in life. Like the way people view you on the internet, like that's why there's like a lot of drug abuse in that whole racket, like strippers, all of them. And they may be in their own financial situations. I don't want to comment on that. Like, people need to eat. Like, if they feel like that's what they need to do to eat, then
That's it. Yeah.
then do it. But within that, it just does come with a lot of psychological issues, and it's a shame
And a lot
that
of people don't think that far through. Because there'll be people who don't need to do that, but they are brainwashed. These young kids, like, I can't wait to turn 18 and start our OnlyFans.
it's crazy. Even the Sydney situation with AB, like
Yeah.
stealing the money and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy and it's sad because they feel like they have to do those things to survive. It's like, get with another famous guy, rapper bouncing.
And that's what you're
athletes all over
doing.
the
And it's
place.
like, that's not sustainable. All these people, I could guarantee you, a lot of them, unless they're being smart, are going to be broke by the time they're 50, 60. And all of our peers who thought that was who they had to keep up with are going to realize, look, you was chasing that and now you broke too. You guys are both broke. And who's going to be the people who aren't broke? The boring 9-to-5 workers, us. We're going to be the good. Unless, I'm not saying that everybody's not preparing, but it's just funny. The people who are chasing that and the people who are in that right now are not always going to be good. Because it's not sustainable, in my opinion. I got a consistent check that's been coming every 2 weeks until I'm 65.
Okay. I'm just saying, like,
No.
because what me bringing that up wasn't to put other people down, but I'm just saying in general, like, those things are going to end up coming back. So I just wish women didn't feel like,
Okay.
please, women weren't in a position where, or women just didn't have that mindset about like trying to get on and things like that.
I told you, I think we talked about this on one of the podcast episode before. There was a YouTuber who was involved in the Chris Sales, Queen Naja situation. Like, one of the girls he cheated on her with that became super viral. She became famous off of that video because they did an exposed video, and that's how it all came out, and the breakup happened and all that after. But one of the girls from the video used that hype that she got from that. And like, she has like a big butt, so she used that to her advantage, and she started her OnlyFans because she had a lot of pressure. She had a YouTube video that just came out recently where she said she regretted it. Like, it's been years, obviously, since Queen and Chris broke up. Clearly Queen had a whole other baby in a relationship. But she said the same thing. She said she could probably get another job anywhere else. So she always wanted to be a teacher. She's like, I could never be a teacher anymore because all you gotta do is a quick background search and you're gonna find that. So she's realizing that, like, she's like, those, it's not worth it. So like you said, a lot of those girls, I know that's how they feel.
Yeah. So
like that psychological impact.
It's unfortunate.
But yeah, you were saying that because like the grooming, right? Like people don't realize the situation they put themselves in.
Yeah, I was highlighting that because I wanted to say, like, you know, in the moment, okay, like people view sex differently.
Yeah, like you're thinking, all right, I'm sleeping. He's probably gonna, I don't want to be vulgar, but probably gonna finish in 5 minutes, and I got my music deal.
Right. So, but
L.A. Reid's old, so I'm sure that's how Ruby.
And we're not putting this on L.A. Reid because we don't know.
Or Ruby, because we don't.
Yeah, we don't know any situation, but just in general, you think it's like, okay, you'll compromise yourself a little bit because the return is going to be whatever you think the return is going to be, but you're going to look back at life, whether you even flip that to become $100 millionaire, no matter what, you're going to regret that situation. Like you just are, because there are the women that don't care and they view sex a certain way, which is fine. Like view it how you want to view it. But I know for the most part that women are very emotional and they wouldn't want that to be their story, because if they could get that without having to do that, then they would do it.
They would definitely do it. Yeah.
So that's why it's just like, you know, just keep that in mind. And, you know, it's unfortunate that these situations happen.
Yeah.
With Quinn,
keep that in your kids in mind too.
With Quinn specifically, because, you know, she didn't explicitly say Diplo. It's just the fact that
we know it's him.
Yeah. At least in terms of how weird the other previous situation was, from what we just heard about her living with him and stuff like that. But so that's why I don't want to put it on him. But you know,
it's probably him, because that's who she was living with. We all knew
allegedly.
We all knew that's what. Yeah, because it was his house. Like people recognize his house, his awards. Like she was showing the Grammys and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we knew it was a sad situation. But you know, you live and you learn. It's unfortunate the stuff young people got to go through to learn lessons.
Yeah. But going into our next topic here, what we were just talking about was, and I'm only saying that because clipping it here.
No,
but
yeah.
We were just talking about women making those sort of decisions about doing, you know, sexual things to get on or just whatever it is, and like living with the backlash essentially is what we were talking about. Of doing it, like, you know, just the reaction that the world has for your actions. Like, things are forever. Like the internet is forever. Like there's no disappearing. There's no I deleted all my tweets. They're never gonna pop up again. Yeah. Anybody could take a screenshot of anything you've ever done and it will live on the internet forever. I could send that to 1 million people right now. Somebody could post a tweet that you posted and now 2 million people got it. Like the internet is forever.
And there's trolls on the internet that their whole job is to immediately screenshot every single tweet that someone makes. Yeah,
so that anytime they want to pull your card later in life, they could pull your card and they'll be able to have all the video evidence. People are saving your videos, your tweets to their phone, putting it on their laptop, showing. That's why
all that stuff happened with what's her face from Batman?
Zoe.
Yeah, people had stuff in already. They're like who was sitting on this information waiting for something like this to happen? People are crazy.
Well, there's actually, if you did not notice, there's actually companies that are literally dedicated to doing this. Wow. Actually, they're literally like blackmail companies that do research and go find things when they want things to happen. One of the crazy things too, because I've been watching House of Cards. If you guys, I know I'm very late to House of Cards. I'm on season 2, but they were showing like, and just because it's on TV and it's like a TV show trying to enact something doesn't mean it's true. But they were showing how they do stuff like that, like how they really literally manipulate the media. Like the main politician had a reporter lady on the side and was feeding her the information that he wanted to feed her, and then once that got put out to everywhere, it went everywhere. So if anything negative he wanted to be put out there, he would go to her, she would put it out in the news, and then it would go everywhere. And that's just how it works. So the internet's forever, and because the internet's forever, your decisions are basically forever. Yeah. Like Kanye, no matter what he's done in his career, for example, and we're doing a couple of podcasts bingo, always got to bring up Kanye. Those tweets and all those different things that he's saying is forever. Like you do have to, like the internet's not real, but
you do have to realize this is gonna forever be attached to you now.
Yeah, attached to you and attached to the internet. And people are always gonna reference, you know, whatever your tweets are, and it's not to highlight Kanye specifically, but just in general, when people post anything, it's forever. Yeah. And I'm bringing this up because there was a recent TikTok, I think, that Jada Waiter posted about her son seeing her twerking video on TikTok, because I guess, has his own TikTok account. And he scrolls through videos.
And people make edits. And the same thing's probably gonna happen to Ari too. She would think about that.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak on her kid specifically because that's her kid. We never talking about somebody else's children, but just in general, like that's one of those things where the internet is forever. It's permanent. Like we don't want to bash sex workers and we don't want to bash women's sexuality because in the big scheme of things, how big of a deal is it a woman shaking her legs on the internet?
Because the only reason things are so crazy is because we society made it so taboo.
Yeah, I don't personally, honestly, I don't personally care about none of that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just natural. It's our bodies. It's like
it's legs. Like
it's two pieces of meat.
If I was shaking my arms, is that like turning somebody on? Like it's really not. So my personal opinion as a man, I don't particularly care, and that's not because I want to see it or something. It's just that like I try to break down things as they are. Like she's shaking her legs on the internet. Yeah. Whatever.
Like okay. Anatomy.
Now, all the men in the comments, if they were going to say something negative, it's like, okay, so you wouldn't care if your daughter did it? It's like...
I hate when people bring that up because it's like...
The reason... Go ahead.
I know some guys, the reason why they think about if their daughter does it because they don't want their daughter to be appeared as that. But I think the reason, like, another half of it is like, okay, if I don't really care my daughter does that, but they're more worried about the men out there that will creep on their daughter.
Yeah, it's more so that...
Like, they're worried about her getting hurt or... something or worse.
So for me, the way I feel about like, I guess sort of like women's sexuality, stuff like that, like I think that women nudity and what we perceive to be women nudity is stupid. Like women having to have the chest covered up, to me that's stupid. And that's not me being some weird creepy guy. I just think that is logically stupid if men can do it.
There's some guys whose chest is bigger than women.
Right.
And nobody walking around here running.
And we don't want to see that.
Flopping.
We don't want to see that shit.
And the girls out here with A cups and they're naked. It's like,
yeah.
But a man might be out here with double D's.
Which is crazy. So for me, like that specifically, I think that's a wild thing. Like I don't think that women's sexual, like that should be a thing. Like I don't think that.
I never understood how it even became a sexual organ, in my opinion, because
it is technically.
Well, why? Because it feels good.
Well, it's a part of the sexual reproductive system. Like when you...
Because of...
They're connected.
Feeding?
No, they're just connected. Like the feelings in up top lead to feelings down low.
Yeah.
Like it's like connected. So it is...
So it just became that.
It is a sexual organ. But just even still, who cares?
Yeah.
Like I don't personally like agree with it, but would I care if you was on Instagram or the internet doing it? And the only reason why I would care is because other people care. But in general, my opinion is I really don't care.
Yeah. And I think even with the situation where her son's seeing that, it's like, for me, like, we okay, it's like there's two sides of it. It's one side of it is if you're going to care about your son seeing things like that, then like this is the message for you. Then you should think twice about putting that stuff on the internet. If you're not going to care and you're one of those free world people, then I feel like then it's not a big deal. Because she brought light to it, meaning that she was
she was laughing
thing
at
with
it.
She was laughing at it, so she didn't really care.
No, she didn't care. She was laughing at it because.
But then you see Kim Kardashian though, with the Roblox thing, with the tape, she cared, and was crying about it, and it's like, I mean, that wasn't her fault though. The tape getting out wasn't her fault, and that was her boyfriend. So allegedly,
supposedly. But
it's like if you're on the side of not caring, then it's like, all right, then whatever. Because I know that some people might just talk to their kids and be like, yeah, like. Sometimes when girls have fun, like when we dance, this is how we dance. Like you can explain that to your son. Like for me, the way I want to raise our kids is just to be honest with them about this life. Like everything is people make things so taboo and everything is like, oh, don't show your kids that. It's like, why? Like certain things I get, it's like, yeah, they're young. You don't want them to expose other people about that or them to know about those things too early. But it's like if they're like, oh, mommy, what are you doing? I'm like, look at you dancing. I would be like, yeah, I'm dancing. That's it. But then where it gets dangerous or where it could get bad is if now that kid goes to school and they want the girls to do that, and now those parents get mad, or they do that.
Okay.
Now the parents get mad, and it's like, for me, I would worry more about that, like how my kids impact them being so knowledgeable and me kind of being more free with them, how that would impact them in school, because then now you're dealing with other kids and their parents and how they want to raise their kids, and it's like.
No, there's one part that you're mentioning.
Yeah.
The other part is that.
The influencing.
No, not that they're gonna get clowned at school for years. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, cause now you might not worry about your kids seeing that, but you're gonna be worried about their classmates seeing that.
Because their classmates are gonna see it, and then they're gonna clown you. And this is not about Jada specifically, but you know, because when you talk about sex work in general, the OnlyFans and all this other stuff, there's 1,000% gonna be kids that are subscribed to their friends' moms' OnlyFans, and that's like
sick,
crazy. Now, if you can't, okay, so if the parent doesn't have to necessarily care, because they could be like, whatever, I'm free, okay, but
now you think about your kid. Yeah, because now your kid, that you might try to you could tell your kid to your blue in the face, oh, don't worry about them, don't care. That's still at the end of the day, you can't control how they might react.
Because kids are sick. Like, they're gonna pull up your nudes and show them.
Yeah, and kids are privy to what bullying feels like. So it's like, even if you tell your kid, oh, it's whatever, like they're that, like that's life. Like they're laughing at something that's normal. That doesn't mean that's gonna help them when they go to school and everybody's laughing at them. Right. So that's the thing. It's not everybody has that mindset. Not everybody is gonna raise your kids like you're gonna raise your kids, and that's something you gotta think about, is that they're gonna still deal with that happen at school. Like, you might feel like this is taboo, and I'm gonna explain that to my kid, but majority of the world is still in the belief of taboo, what's taboo, and in the belief of traditional systems and all that. So they're still gonna spew that at home, and your kids gonna have to deal with classmates who were raised like the opposite of the way you raise your kids.
Yeah, you said that perfectly.
Yeah,
and that's the way a lot of my opinions. Sorry if y'all can hear that, because somebody burning down the damn apartment. Can't even do the podcast. But like I was saying with the topless women, that's kind of like my opinion on, like, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a few different, you know, things and nuances of things that we do in society where my opinion is one way, but I have to not have that opinion because of how we exist. Like, women should be able to be topless at the beach, just in the same way men are. And just because you feel that way, unfortunately, you know, the rest of the world is not going to feel the same way. People should be able to be, if it's hot outside, be topless walking down the sidewalk. I don't particularly care. Like, I would love to be, like, if I was in a gym, I would love to run shirtless. In some gyms, you can be shirtless, but I would love to. I mean, the thing for girls, it's just not even comfortable. Yeah, I know y'all need a bra because you got to support it. I know it's a little bit different, but just in general, there's certain things, like, men get insecure about their women dressing a certain way, like lingerie, whatever it is, posting it on the internet. And I do understand that you wouldn't want your woman to sexualize herself for the purpose of attention. So I do understand that. And the thing is too, you know, a lot of the root of sexualizing yourself is for the attraction of the other the gender, or your same gender, because that's what gets you popping on the internet and makes you relevant. So I do understand that. Because, like, the funny thing is, anytime we're going on trips, or like I post something in my bikini, I'm like, I know this is gonna get more likes than my fit pics. Yeah, but it's not like I'm doing that for the likes. I just like how I look. But that's not everybody's intention. Usually there's a deep rooted reason why we all do things, and whether it's in your intention or not is going to be perceived however it's going to be perceived. Like, oh, she wants to. But as a man, you just gotta be confident, and that's my girl, whatever. But everybody has different morals. Just they with somebody that aligns with that. So for me, I really don't care. Like, honestly, I told you probably, and not necessarily, like, I didn't say, hey, you should wear bikinis more, because like the IG girls are kind of weird. Like, you're trying to exploit me. No, I mean, the IG girls are kind of weird. It's like, you're wearing a bikini. I didn't see sand. I didn't see a beach. You're not near any water. Like why are you wearing a bikini in the grass in the backyard? Yeah. I know some people tan though in their backyards though. Yeah. They tan, but it's like. Yeah, like sand. You're just doing it because of likes, whatever. Mm-hmm. But in my personal opinion, I don't care. Like, I wouldn't. The only reason I would care about, like, even doing, that whole, like, the attire that you wear when you take pictures. The only reason I would care would be because other people care. But in general, I wouldn't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care in you posting them. I don't, like, whatever. Yeah. But in general, it would be because that's how other people feel. Yeah. So. And that's just I feel like that, honestly, that's just a messed up part about life. Like, you can feel how you feel and live the way you live, but you know that we live in a world where you have to interact with others, and then it's just, you have to accept how other people. You just have to accept that. You don't have to necessarily be around it, but you just have to accept it. And certain things you can't avoid, like with school, like you can't avoid your kids going to school. So it's like you can't avoid them interacting with other students unless you put them in private school, or unless you homeschool them then, you know. If that's still going to be so much of an issue. Yeah. But, you know, just align with stuff. Like, you know, how you feel about nudity. That's why nude beaches exist. But then, you know, there's creeps at the nude beach. Yeah, with the so honestly, it just sucks that there's no way of really living life. Like, you just have to live for you and just accept things for what they are. Yeah, and not care about anybody else's opinion. But yeah, I didn't bring this up to even, you know, hopefully it wasn't perceived that way about, like, us criticizing Jada because we don't care
I'm not
particularly.
criticizing it.
But I just think it's something that people should keep in mind because she laughed about it. So
Yeah, so clearly she don't care.
yeah, she definitely don't care.
Yeah.
But some people may care. Like you don't want your kid coming to you crying.
Yeah.
Because some kid showed them, like it was Saint that saw it, right?
Yeah.
He's young, so he doesn't really understand. But he
didn't,
laughing.
he didn't even read what the thing said. The thing said like it was her crying face, like her ugly crying face.
Mm-hmm.
It was a picture of that, and then the caption said like second tape being released. He couldn't even read what that said, so he was just laughing at the crying face. He didn't think about that, but I think for her, I was like, oh my god, this is really how close my kids are probably gonna get, like is gonna get to seeing this stuff, and they're probably going to see this stuff one day.
Yeah, don't let people find out what Saint's Xbox profile is or something else, because people are gonna definitely do stuff like that. But
I think that's like the bottom line. It's like you had to ask yourself, is future me gonna care about this? I'm dropping this OnlyFans and I'm putting myself out there sexually for anybody to screenshot. My high school friends are probably gonna screenshot this. Somebody's gonna screenshot this. I'm putting this out there. Is this really something I'm never gonna regret?
Yeah, then you gotta think about that every time you tweet. Yeah. Every time you really do anything on the internet, it's something to think about. So. Yeah. I
think that's the bottom line. Jada's laughing at it, and I'm sure she's fine. I'm sure the son, like, obviously you're not sexualizing your kid. The kid's not thinking nothing of that. He doesn't perceive twerking as sexual. He just thinks, oh, my mom was dancing. Like, she, look at my mom dancing. That's how that's probably why she's laughing. But I think you just got to care about how your son's going to perceive you, or your daughter, or how their classmates are going to perceive you.
Yeah.
Before you put that stuff out there, don't, like, if you don't want anybody to have something to say about you, then just don't give them it. But if you're giving the world that is out there forever.
Yep. Moving along. So there was recent backlash. There's always some backlash on the internet. But there's been kind of like a common thing, and it's not just with Nicki, but this has been a common thing with Jay-Z as well. I would put those two as maybe you could throw Drake in that conversation too. But there's just a list of obviously the top tier performers in music, and there's like the upper tier of people you want to get a feature verse from or be able to be on their song. And that's Jay-Z. I feel like I've heard the most, because Jay-Z doesn't just get on anybody's songs. Mm-hmm. Like he has to really feel like he has to say something on your song for him to get on your song. Like he's not just throwing verses to anybody.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit harder to work with.
Yeah.
Or to get a verse from. Drake, people always wanted Drake first because it's literally called the stimulus package now.
Yeah.
But Drake is more likely and willing to do a verse for you, especially if he just likes the song.
New artists too.
Yeah, especially because then he's gonna take over the song.
Yeah. Nicki kind of too.
And that's why we're gonna talk about Nicki too, because Nicki definitely does hop on newer artist songs
if she really likes it too. She says she has to like it.
Yeah, and she has to like you as a person. But with that, and Nicki being where she's at in her career, she's now become. And I'm not talking about her age, but her age in rap is older. Like she's like a legend at this point. So people that are coming up now are now looking to her for verses, and she's the legend. Like the women rappers want a verse from Nicki, just like the men rappers want a verse from Jay-Z.
Yeah, or Drake. So
the backlash, of course, was with Erica Banks.
Yeah.
And her being upset that she wants a Nicki verse. So how do you feel about people pressing? Because I know how I feel, and I'm gonna give my opinion. But how do you feel about? I feel the same way. How do you feel about rappers pressing other rappers for verses, especially when they're new in their careers?
I feel like it's stupid. I feel like, for one, the first and foremost, when you rapping, it should be passion. It should be because you love it, not because it's for money, fame. Because that's why I don't like Cardi B, because she admitted that she did it for money. I don't like her at all. Like her passion was never really in it from jump. I feel like she just did it for money, and she said that she did whatever she can to get her bag. So I feel like first and foremost, like your passion gotta be there. You gotta just love it and be making music because you love it, and whatever comes from it comes from it. So to feel like just because you're a female rapper that you're entitled to a feature with somebody who's put the work in. Like Nicki was like the last of the, before the streaming era. Like I just saw an interview today of her like promoting her Playtime Is Over mixtape, like at interviews that was happening on the street. Like she was out handing out mixtapes. Like that's like she really built herself from, like she's really self-made, like from scratch. And it's like, who are you to think that like you're entitled to that? you know. And it's like you're not entitled to somebody's work and you're not entitled to that shout out, basically. Like if you think you're great, you earn that. You earn you earn that feature. Because if you think you're great and you just do you, Nicki will notice you. Like clearly, from what we see, is Nicki is in the know. She watches TikTok. She be knowing what's going on with TikTok. She knows like what's happening on social media. She knows. People think celebrities don't be online. They see what's going on. They hear the music. They're privy to everybody. 9 times out of 10, these female rappers, she knows a lot of them. Like all upcoming, like she knows. So it's like if she didn't reach out for a feature or you sent one and didn't get one, then you're just not it. Get there.
Yeah, it's not happening.
And don't be fake with it. Like I feel like they think like, okay, maybe if I work hard, she'll notice me. Like no, you gotta be authentic. Like you have to really like her too, and really be a true fan of her.
Yeah,
been a fan.
I think that like in addition to what you said too, I think like just work for it. Like I think you shouldn't even. You may want a verse, but I feel like even asking for a verse is like kind of like weird. Yeah. Because if they wanted to give you the verse, then they would have gave it to you.
Like asking for one seems like have more respect for yourself. Like
because like Kendrick had Good Kid, Mad City, which was like, I mean, depending on how you look at whether that was his second or first album, you know, your own opinion. But Jay-Z got on the remix to Don't Kill My Vibe. Kendrick never asked for it. Actually, there's a video of Kendrick hearing it for the first time because his label, Jay-Z reached out to Kendrick's label and then like did the verse. Yeah. Kendrick didn't know, and there's a video of Kendrick like listening to it for the first time. Because like Jay-Z heard the album and Good Kid, Mad City. I don't care what anybody says. Good Kid, Mad City is the best rap album of all time. I don't care what anybody says. So
same thing with Welcome to the Party. I don't think Pop Smoke asked. And remember the video of him reacting? Like, he was like hype.
Yeah, because like it's Nicki Minaj.
You know your song, like what?
That you probably just made like.
And some of the labels asked though, right? You think the labels send it without consulting with the artist?
I think they could, but I think that when we're talking about these legends, I don't think that they do. Yeah, I just think that
Nicki heard that song was everywhere, so she was like, "Oh, let me get on this. I'm from New York, like." Let me get on this.
Yeah, I think she just happened to hear it and then she was like, nah, this is like, I gotta come out. And
yeah, and that should be the thing. Like Pop Smoke was just doing him, making his music, and look what happened. Like he was just good at it. Yeah. He wasn't pressed for a feature. He wasn't asking around, begging for a feature. Like you can't force your song to hit. You can't force you to hit as an artist either.
Yeah, and matter
people think that they can by just getting a feature with Nicki.
And no matter how much you tweet tweet your own album and post your own album on an Instagram story, like you can't make people like your music. And if they like it and they want to give you a verse, then they're gonna give you the verse. Like
and Erica Banks never gonna get one. I don't want to say that because Nicki seems like she's forgiving, but
right. But that's also another thing. It's like now you're coming out and you're like expressing your frustrations to another artist, and it gives like that feeling of entitlement. And I feel like that's a turnoff, especially if you want the verse. So that's why I just don't understand. Like,
now you dug your own grave for what?
Now you're angry because you might have got the verse if you just worked hard and you had a song that just happened to hit.
And Nicki's not gonna like all songs. She said that. That's why she like people are shocked that Nicki and Doja don't have more stuff because she probably just doesn't like some of the stuff that Doja sends. Yeah. And they're friends. They text each other. They're cool. Like.
And you know another thing. It's okay to have a professional relationship. Like it's okay to like have a relationship with people in music. We're not in the industry, but I think it's okay to have a relationship with someone else in music. It would make sense for you guys to make music together, but you still don't make music because it's a thing about not forcing anything. Like you see, I have certain verified people that follow me. It just doesn't make sense for me to be like we have a podcast. Like it doesn't make sense for me to even invite people to the podcast because it's not like. It's just not the right time. Yeah. Like it's just not needed at that particular time. Like you don't need a Nicki verse right now. Like you might not need it later.
I get though that there's different ways though, because we've seen the Kanye doc and everybody now has Kanye example. Kanye kind of did force himself in.
Yeah, you can.
And it worked, but you have to be good. He forced himself in, but he just happens to be a really great artist. He just knew that he was talented and he knew he had to get his stuff out there.
He forced himself in the rap aspect of it, definitely.
But you can't force the people to love you.
But he only was able to do that because he was recognized for having talented beats.
Yeah, like he still
Like, he was
still had
talented for
to.
his
Yeah,
beats.
that's true, and he still had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, because if he was just coming up there rapping, they wouldn't. He definitely, if he wasn't good at making beats, he would not be an artist right now.
Yeah, that's true. Because that was he needed
An entry point.
yeah, a foundation.
And I'm speaking, and because I don't want to say that Kanye isn't talented enough to be successful, but for people that don't know, at that particular time, that just wasn't rap. So
Yeah,
like
gangsta rap was.
even when Kanye was being successful as a rapper, it still wasn't a popular like rap. That part of rap wasn't. It didn't exist yet. Like he created that like version of rap that wasn't about me shooting you and blah blah blah. Like you saw the people he was around. Like that was like hood music.
And the thing is too, the forcing it thing, you had to have undeniable talent. Like, look how his first album did. The talent was there. There's people who be forcing it and they're trash. Like Erica Banks, no offense. The only song I know is that whole Busted song. That song was trash. It was just that hook. And it went viral on TikTok. Busted. That's stupid. That song was stupid. That whole trend was kind of cringe. So cringe. She made.
Oh God. I told you to stop making disparaging remarks about people on this podcast.
Oh.
We're not disparaging people on the podcast. We're only delivering.
I'm sorry.
We're only delivering the news.
I'm sorry.
No, you really do have to stop that.
Okay.
Cut it out.
Okay.
Relax.
Okay. It's constructive criticism.
No, that's not constructive. Saying it was trash and that she as an artist is mid is not constructive.
Okay,
criticism.
maybe the mid part I took away. The song. Okay, you know what? The song wasn't that great.
That's not constructive. You didn't tell her
the song wasn't great.
No,
it had a catchy hook and it went viral on TikTok. That's the only reason it got out of here. If it didn't go viral on TikTok, nobody would have played that song. That's being honest.
That's not constructive. Constructive means that you're saying, okay, when she does the bridge here, what she probably should have done is double the vocals. That's constructive criticism.
Well, there's honest criticism from somebody who's not in the music industry. The song the hook or the chorus, whatever it was, is popular on TikTok, and the only reason that the song did well is because of TikTok. That's actually a fact. The song only did well from TikTok, but nobody. I don't think people actually even streamed it though. Once they realized that the song was kind of like not.
That's the thing about TikTok songs is that people hear the 15 seconds,
and
they only want to play it on TikTok.
Yeah,
they only want to play it on TikTok. Nobody's running to iTunes to go buy these songs
unless the song just happens to be good. But the songs that have proven to be good, multiple parts of the verse ends up on TikTok. Like that song, No Idea. They pretty much did a trend to every part of that song. They use like so many different parts of that song for a trend. So clearly, people just like the whole song.
The whole story about that song too is a little wild.
Really?
Because
I don't know the story.
There was originally a difference. It's funny because I sometimes I tell stories without actually knowing the story. My understanding is that song was actually called something completely different, and it was on a different beat. But there's a producer group, and why am I forgetting? Oh, Internet Money. Internet Money made that beat, which is Taz Taylor, I think, and Nick Mira, I think, is the two producers in Internet Money, but I could be wrong. I think there might be three, but nonetheless, basically, they heard the song. Some other producer in Internet Money, or just a guitarist in general, that guitar thing, that like, like they heard the acapella and they made the beat around the acapella from a completely different song.
Yeah.
And then that became No Idea, and that's what blew up. Like all those lyrics were from a completely different song that already came out. They took the acapella, made a whole guitar beat around it, put the drums on it, whatever, and that's how No Idea came about. And I think Wonder Girl might have been on No Idea as well.
Cool. Yeah.
Crazy story.
Yeah, and the song got out of here.
All the way out of here.
Like they probably still use some variations of that song on TikTok to this day.
Yeah.
But
work hard and work hard and get your verse.
Yeah, that's it. Like if anything, she dug herself a hole now. You're too entitled and you didn't even do anything. Like you didn't get put no dent or stain in this industry, and you're feeling entitled and disappointed. And
the way Nicki works is that sometimes you don't even have to do that. Like you might just got a song that went off and she might just get on your song, but she's a person. She's a human being. Like, she likes it and wants to, and feels like, because you know how, like, I don't know how it is because I'm not a rapper, but I would imagine that every song that they listen to, they don't want to then rap on or sing on the song.
You have to hear something. Like I feel like Blick Blick, like that sounds like a song that she would be on. So I know she instantly heard it, was like, yeah, this is the one. Like I'm gonna get on this. Like you have to feel it.
It has to make sense.
They're not just gonna get on any song with any beat. Like
Yeah.
And who are you to feel that they're entitled to do that? Like, it's just that entitlement stuff is crazy to me.
I think the only person that's ever gotten on any song and just be all over the place is probably Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne has put out probably the most volume at the highest quality of any rapper ever.
And just got on anything.
And just got on anything and everything. Yeah, whole mixtape.
To this day, he still does that. Wasn't he on Lotto's album?
Yeah, he was. He gets on everything.
It's crazy.
And does it at a high level. The whole No Ceilings mixtapes was him just rapping over other people's beats.
And that's just because you are a fan of rap.
Yeah,
and, like, you just like rap and you could get on anything.
He probably the only person.
Yeah.
But yeah, just perform well, because like that's like the whole thing, like wondering why you're not getting promoted at work or something. It's like, put the work in, you're gonna get promoted at work. And sometimes you might be in a situation where you don't get promoted and you feel like you deserve it. But just in general, typically if you do what's required,
the outcome will come.
Yeah, it'll come.
Like, think about all the people Nicki has worked with. She worked with like a lot of people, female rappers too. Cardi, she worked with Meg, Bia, Doja Cat, Coila right now. Like, she's pretty much worked with pretty like every great up and coming rapper, if you think about it. She didn't have some mulatto, but it might come. Her and City Girls are cool now. Like, they was interacting on Twitter the other day. And all of a sudden now JT's making songs with Chun-Li in the background. So she'll make the song. It just has to be right for her. And if you know, it's not required. It's not like you need the Nicki collab. You don't need it.
That's the other thing. It's like you don't.
Doja Cat was way out of here before they got their collab. And that wasn't really even a collab. That was like a remix.
Yeah. Just put in the work. That's it.
Yeah. So Erica Banks, stop being lazy. Well, Erica Banks, you're not getting a Nicki verse ever, unless she's forgiving. Sorry, you ruined it for yourself. Dug yourself a hole. A lot of people, that's the funny thing too. A lot of people like to dig themselves holes in this lifetime with that arrogance.
That's another thing. And then we could get off to the last topic. I think one thing that you should never do, unless it's something super crazy, I don't think that you should ever put out like disparaging remarks about your employer.
Yeah.
Or someone that you're looking for.
Someone they need something from.
Yeah, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, when people are like, oh, F the label, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, well, as a label, I don't want you to be saying that about me. Yeah. So now you're never going to get a deal from us over here.
Sometimes you got to play the game, even if you don't like them too. You got to play the game.
Or and I'm not even saying that. Like, I'm just saying in general, like, you don't need to go publicly, like, put out your negative thoughts about things on everything that happens. Like, people typically leave their jobs for what reasons?
Pay. Like management. Maybe they don't like their boss or their coworkers.
Pretty much it.
Like that, yeah.
Right? Exactly. So because of that, you should not then go and tweet. Like, if that's your reason for leaving, you shouldn't probably then go and like publicly bash the company for the pay or the management. Yeah. Because then the next company you're going to is going to question your loyalty.
Yeah, if you do that to us.
Like, because that actually happened in an interview one time where, and here's an interview tip, Alex G, the businessman. When you're interviewing and they ask you about why you're leaving your previous employer, that's a pretty common question. The best way to answer that, and what I've always seen success with, is you always have to lead with, you love the company that you work for, but you feel like XYZ.
Like, when I plan to leave my company, if I do leave and go to I'm saying if I do leave my company and go to entertainment, which is what I want to do, I would just say that. I'd be like, this was a really great company, great benefits, but the industry wasn't what I wanted to be in. That's a good answer, right? I'm just changing industries. That's not really common. But then the world, they'd be like, oh, what if you don't like entertainment?
If you're watching this, her managers.
Hey.
Yeah. Like, what I said to get to this job is like, yeah, I love my previous employer, and I saw their faces. They were like, there we go. Like, they were like, cool. Like, they felt better, because you don't want to ever say anything disparaging.
Because they waiting for you to be like, oh, the management was terrible, and I don't know, the location, or even if you like the location. Location not really a bad thing if you're talking about your commute. But if you're like, the management was terrible, they just were so disorganized, and they're like,
they're like, whoa.
They're like, well, if
Let's
we
not-
get on your bad side, this we gonna tell the next place.
Exactly. So they're going to look at things like that. So this is another one of those situations. Like if something negative happens, you don't always have to necessarily put it out into the universe, because now you don't know where that's going to go.
And that's the thing. Like you might feel that's unfair. Like I should freedom of speech. I should be able to say how I feel. But that's the thing. What comes with saying how you feel is you also have to realize what comes with it. What comes with it is you might mess yourself up. You might burn bridges. You might prevent opportunities. If you're okay with that, then keep speaking your mind. But if you're not okay with that, then you gotta be smart. Play the game.
Yep.
Play the game of life.
The last thing I got, and this is a quick one, but this was a great moment.
I thought we had 9 topics. We're not going to get through them.
No, we're not getting through them. This is the last one.
You gonna move them to next week?
No. Last thing we got here happened in the past week. Mike Tyson beat the brakes off of somebody on the airplane. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think that it should happen more. And I think that there shouldn't be any negative repercussions that come from it.
Yeah. I think people need to stop messing with these celebrities.
And athletes and just anybody in general. Like if you're going to dish it out, if you're going to be...
Stop messing with anybody, actually.
Yeah, really. Just in general, yeah. You shouldn't be...
You don't know who you might be arguing with.
And you just happen to be harassing one of the greatest fighters, the heavyweight boxers of all time.
Yeah. Could have easily killed him with one punch.
Yeah, and Mike definitely looked like he was in shape. His forearm was bigger than the guy's forehead. Started punching him repeatedly. But yeah, I just thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, the part that I don't like about it is because we're not in a place where it's okay to do that, I guess, when people are harassing you. So my fear is that, Mike ends up on a travel ban or like a flight ban or something like that. Because
they're gonna have to. Because the thing is, with stuff like that happens, I know it's usually on a case by case basis, but they're gonna have to keep some level of like fairness. It's like we can't just treat him special because he's a celebrity. Like you still did something. You still assaulted somebody on a plane. Especially
if he didn't touch him, because I didn't see a video of
and I know that'd be people's excuse, like, oh well, he was harassing me the whole time. It's like just like we were saying in the beginning, that doesn't warrant getting physical with somebody. But somebody can do whatever they want to. As long as they didn't touch you, you shouldn't touch them.
My argument would be that the airline didn't properly secure an unruly passenger from threatening my health and safety.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, I get into my bag. Listen, I should have been a lawyer. But that's what I would say, because that's a fact. Like, why is there not more security?
And why do I have to be uncomfortable on my flight and being harassed by somebody physically? I mean, verbally harassed. Like, why should I have to deal with that?
And you could say that you felt threatened. Yeah.
Like we're on a plane and I don't know who this guy is. And
So, I just thought it was great, because I think that, it's a part of sports where the fans, go after the athletes. Like, obviously that makes sense. The hecklers, all that. And you shouldn't run into the stands and necessarily put your hands and feet on people. But in general, like if they're saying certain things, then you should. Like booing, cool. But calling you the N-word and all this
other, like, or sometimes they try to bring up your family, right?
Yeah, like you're white. Like I told you, I was at Yankee Stadium. Yankees fans I'm a Yankees fan, of course, so I'm in that group. But what happened recently, they started, this happened yesterday or 2 days ago, they were throwing the game that we were going to go to, or I was saying for us to go to, the fans started throwing beer at the other,
Max.
Like beer cans were all over the outfield, like stuff like that. If a person wanted to run into the stands with a bat and beat the brakes off you, I wouldn't be mad at it. Yeah. And I think that Mike Tyson, it made my heart smile, because
I think people gonna learn to stop messing with these celebrities and thinking that they're not gonna fight back because they have too much to lose. Yeah, it's like, nah, I'm gonna beat the brakes off you. Yeah. And I saw. You think he might try to sue though? Yeah, he probably will. People love this when they go sue a rich person. Yeah, they love it. But what's even better is when you got the money and you just be like, all right, I'll pay the check. We ain't even gotta go to court. Mm-hmm. We'll set it right outside of court. And then beat him up again. Because they got to put out all their information. Yeah. So now you know where he lives. Yeah. That's the thing, too. If you're willing to do a lawsuit, you're willing to put your information out there. Yeah. And he should beat the brakes off of him again. Yep. And that's kind of like what you said before, like when it first happened. Like people also got to learn, like, people are too comfortable online and trolling, and people are way too comfortable. And 90% of people would not do that in person. And then you see what happens when you do it in person. Yeah. You get punched in the face repeatedly by Mike Tyson. Yeah.
Mike Tyson had 3 heavyweight belts at
So
one
you
point.
don't learn to never mess with people again.
Yeah, it's that TikTok, Instagram, Twitter confidence that people think that they can say whatever they want, and then real repercussions happen. Like we've seen people in sports get lifetime bans from the arena, or just lifetime bans from NBA games for doing stuff like that.
Yeah, you saw somebody ran on
I saw that
yesterday.
Yeah.
What was wrong with her?
I don't know.
She looked crazy, and apparently the guy was like watching her the whole time. The guy who grabbed her. She looked crazy, but it's like you had that money to sit down there. I think they said she was protesting like animal rights.
Yeah, that's been happening. I don't know if you saw the other ones, but the other lady chained herself to the basketball hoop in the I forget what game that was.
I mean, so I guess they don't care about being banned because that's their point. They're only there to do that.
But you're banned from every NBA game forever. But sometimes you're banned from arenas and
wow,
like
so you can't even go there to
a
like
concert.
Yeah.
But then what happens then? If another arena sees that you got banned from that arena, they might be like, "Nah, you ain't coming here either." So now you got to just get banned from everywhere.
Yeah, for what? To save animals? Never mind.
But
I have vegan family members. So I'm not gonna talk about the animals.
But yeah, just in general, people gotta be aware that you can't just talk and say whatever you want because you are liable to get the brakes beat off you. And you know, a lot of times I feel like good.
Yeah.
Don't run down on a celebrity and blah like
that's what you get.
And then be feeling entitled. And then if they don't give you a picture, then you start calling them names.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, that's why I won anyway. You broke, bro. It's like, all right, now I'm gonna punch you in the face and now get out of here. But yeah, I was happy to see Mike do that, and then him go. He was going to Miami, I think, and then
he was just chilling.
He was just chilling. I think he did a couple interviews. After that, he had a whole podcast run set up anyway. You just keep moving. I love it.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't get banned.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't. But you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But Mike at one point had a very significant amount of money. He has like a weed ranch. His podcast. He has like a bunch of different ventures. So I'm not sure where his money situation is, and I'm definitely not pocket watching. But hopefully he's in a position where if he does get banned, he can just get the PJ and just fly wherever. But that might be inconvenient and of course very expensive.
Yeah.
But hopefully he has it like that. But
and usually when they do those bans, it's just the airline.
Yeah, it's not like
like that. Yeah.
Who's
the
FAA, the FTC.
Yeah.
Whoever it is.
They just, which is kind of crazy. I think it depends on what you do. If you do something so crazy, then you're banned from, you're in a no-fly list. You can't fly nowhere.
Yeah.
But like I think the people with like the masks, the situation, stuff like that, I think
It's just the airline.
Yeah, just the airline. I think.
But now, with the airlines now removing the mask mandate, what happens to the people that were banned?
I heard that they're like in the process of maybe like doing reversals.
Gotcha. Cool. Happy to hear
Even
that
though
too.
technically it's like you didn't follow a law, so it's like regardless, I feel like even though we don't wear masks anymore, you still didn't follow a law. So you kind of should.
No, I agree with you. Actually, I do agree with you. But the reason why I'm saying nah is because it's the way I feel about the people that are in jail for selling weed and stuff like that. Like people are really doing like lifetime sentences for selling weed, like which is crazy. And now you're gonna tell me that and I'm making it a race thing because it's disproportionately impacts black people.
No, it does.
But now you're gonna let some white person get a license and sell it in a store like in New York City. Like, so like free me now and give me restitution.
Yeah.
Like, but I heard that the way that they're trying to remediate that is that they might give the people that got jail time whenever they get out, if they let them go immediately, or if they have to still serve out their sentence no matter what. But when they get out, they're going to be first in line to get the licenses to open up weed stores. No. No.
It's like, no.
Give me the license, give me money back.
And and really out.
Because again, I do understand, like if you're selling weed, it was illegal at the time. You can't do illegal things, even if it's legal in the future.
Yeah, and that's why I feel
But people shouldn't be doing life sentences. People shouldn't be doing for 20 and 30 years for weed.
Cocaine, crack, maybe.
No, nah.
I mean,
and even that's a maybe.
Well, crack is so detrimental to the community.
Because people commit murder.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, because you're murdering people.
Yeah.
But people who have committed murders and got less time than people who are selling a dime bag. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That weren't even intending to sell it. They were just trying to smoke it themselves. Like, that's crazy to me. They gotta do something, but you know, the justice system is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. Do you have anything you wanted to bring up?
I actually haven't really been keeping up with the news this week. I've been busy.
I held it down.
Yeah.
Podcast fans,
I've been busy.
put a scorpion in the chat if I held it down here.
No. Scorpion.
Big Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Big Scorpio. Big rising moon and
You don't even know your chart.
and sun decline. And rising
I like Scorpios, but sometimes I don't.
and my
like
rising
best.
Jupiter and moon and Mercury. All
Virgo's
that.
the best sign.
All
actually. Virgo's actually the best sign.
Thank you guys for watching.
People don't want to admit that.
This has been the
They
A
don't like
Couple of
people who
Things
are self-aware.
podcast
But Virgos are the only sign that's self-aware.
with Alex and Mal. Thank you for joining. If you got to this point, we appreciate you as always. Again, thank you for those of you that have gotten us to 100 subscribers. We're now at 110. We're going to keep working, keep liking, commenting, subscribing. Eventually, we can do this full time and give our in-depth insights and logistics knowledge and other jargon and buzzwords.
We would have more to focus on it if this was a full-time job.
That's a fact. We would also have 2 episodes a week, if not more.
Because the fact that I'm sitting here like, wow, it's almost 10.
Yeah, and I have to go to work
We got
tomorrow.
work. Like, that sucks.
Crazy.
I hate that that's a thought. Like, if this was just our job, this would just be our job.
Yeah. But thank you guys for watching.
I want nachos.
And as always,
I'm hungry.
I will see you guys later.
We will see you guys later.
Oh, that's my YouTube outro.
Yeah. You guys, but you haven't did a YouTube video on your own channel in a while.
Actually, I have.
No.
I did Diet Coke.
Oh, you did?
I did other videos too. I deleted them.
Don't delete videos.
I'm gonna plug in. Like, say goodbye to the people.
Bye.
Now say something.
You can hear me on your mic.
No, I can't actually. Look.
Yeah. Look at the thing. It's moving. Can I talk loud? So
No, it's moving because it's hearing the ashiness.
I can hear me in my headphones.
We out of here, y'all.